Now, the most important stories from across the country and here at home. Atlanta, your news starts now.
Right now at 8, police are searching for the suspect accused of shooting and killing 18 people in Maine. And tonight, he's considered armed and dangerous. A federal judge is throwing out Georgia's congressional and legislative maps, why he says lawmakers need to go back to the drawing board. And promising news for residents looking for affordable housing, how Atlanta is bringing people closer to the help they need. Good evening. I'm Alecia Reid in for Dana Tyler. A massive manhunt is on for the gunman police say killed 18 people and injured 13 more last night in Maine. Authorities say the shootings took place at 2 locations, a bowling alley and a restaurant in Lewiston. The suspect, Robert Card, is considered armed and dangerous. Police have urged residents to shelter in place as schools remain closed. And we've learned investigators are now looking into whether Card was targeting a specific individual. Reporter Mike Valerio has the story.
I suggest that you go. We have an active shooter, and we're not sure where he's at.
A tight-knit community on edge. A shelter-in-place ordered in multiple towns in Maine as heavily armed officers search for what they say is an armed and dangerous killer.
There is now arrest warrants for murder for this particular individual, Mr. Card. So he is viewed as a suspect, and there is a full court press by all of our partners to bring him into custody.
Police advise that Maine people should not approach him under any circumstances.
Chilling surveillance images released show the moments the mass shooting suspect's deadly rampage began. First at a local bowling alley hosting a youth night for a kids' bowling league, and then traveling about 4 miles to the second scene at a restaurant.
Place to go have a good time and have fun. And then we get somebody that's crazy like that walk in and do what they did, you know.
I never thought I'd grow up and get a bullet in my leg. Like, why do people do this?
According to law enforcement, the suspect, 40-year-old Rob Card, is a military-trained arms instructor who suffers from several mental health issues, including hearing voices, and made threats to shoot up a National Guard base. He'd been committed to a mental health facility over the summer.
Nerves are rattled right now.
In Lewiston, Maine, Mike Valerio, Atlanta Now News.
Mayor Andre Dickens expressed condolences for the victims and issued a statement today in response to the shooting. He said in part, quote, "Time and time again, we've seen needless loss of life because of the deadly combination of mental health issues and ease of access to guns. I, along with other mayors, have been calling on Congress and legislatures to pass common sense gun laws," end quote. Stay with Atlanta Now News for continuing coverage of the manhunt for the suspect in the Maine mass shooting. Tonight, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is worsening. The Palestinian Ministry of Health says nearly 7,000 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli airstrikes. Israel says it will continue targeting Hamas after the deaths of at least 1,400 Israelis. Reporter Laura Aguirre has more on the deepening conflict.
It's seeking out terrorist hiding positions that they could be trying to set up an ambush for our forces.
The Israel Defense Forces are calling their overnight tank raid into northern Gaza preparation for a larger military offensive. When that will happen, still unknown, as is the fate of more than 200 hostages, including Americans, still held by Hamas. Well over 1 million civilians are displaced. Many have little to no access to shelter, food, water, or medicine.
Assistance must be able to flow into Gaza. It means humanitarian pauses must be considered.
While the international community pressures Israel for a pause, its plans for a ground incursion are underway.
When we go into Gaza, in the continuation of the fighting, we will exact the full price from the murderers.
Humanitarian agencies are sounding the alarm about conditions in Gaza. A key issue, the lack of fuel, which Israel is blocking from entering Gaza over fears Hamas will use it to launch more attacks. The main UN agency in the area says it will have to halt operations within hours if fuel is not delivered.
We're being pushed to the brink. We are still hopeful that an urgent shipment of fuel does come in so that we're not forced to stop humanitarian services and assistance to people in need.
The world community really needs to pay attention to this. We have got to get in there so we can help these people so they don't die.
I'm Laura Aguirre for Atlanta Now News.
Lawmakers in Georgia have been ordered by a federal judge to draw up new congressional and state legislative maps. The ruling says that some of the districts were drawn in a racially discriminatory manner and that legislators violated the Voting Rights Act. The state must now draw an additional black majority congressional district. The ruling also calls for 2 new black majority districts in the Senate and 5 new black majority districts in the House. Lawmakers have until December 8th to create the new maps. And some hopeful news for the economy. The Commerce Department says the economy grew at a rate of 4.9% in the third quarter, which is faster than expectations. It is also well above the previous quarter's 2.1% rate. This comes despite interest rates standing at their highest level in 22 years. Experts say robust consumer spending fueled the growth. The Metro Atlanta economy is also doing well. 9,500 jobs were added in September. And according to the State Department of Labor, the number of people either working or looking for a job grew twice as fast as in average September. The Metro's jobless rate dipped from 3.7% to 3.4%. That's better than the national unemployment rate. More help is coming to address Atlanta's affordable housing crisis. Reporter Valencia Jones was there when the city unveiled a new way to link residents to resources.
Inside the 2 Peachtree Street building in Atlanta.
1, 2, 3, cut that ribbon!
The city cutting the ribbon on its first Housing Help Center, connecting people to housing resources. Also announcing plans to convert office space in the old 41-story building into potentially several hundred housing units, part of the ongoing effort to address the affordable housing crisis.
2 Peachtree is a prime example of the scale we need to be able to address this problem.
The Housing Help Center, a one-stop shop for a number of resources: home retention and rehabilitation, down payment assistance, and property tax relief for legacy homeowners. A revolving door of options addressing the skyrocketing cost of living. Housing and senior advocate Margie McLeod says she's optimistic.
They are saying that they're making sure that the people are going to get the right help in the right direction.
The right direction towards her demands for rent control. Star C, which stands for Star Communities, is glad for the partnerships and $2 million from the city for their eviction diversion program.
If your household income is less than 50% of area median income, if you're over 65, if you have a child in APS, if you're a young adult, we will be working with the Housing Help Center to screen those applications and get funding to people in need.
The city is working to create 20,000 affordable housing units by 2030, more than 3,100 units already completed, and over 4,800 in progress.
I feel good because they're saying that they're going to do the right thing. And if not, Ms. Margie's going to be checking on it.
The city is also launching Affordable Housing Week in January to help streamline the permitting and funding processes. Valencia Jones, Atlanta Now News.
It's time for your forecast. Lonnie Quinn is here. Lonnie, there were a few clouds out there today.
Yeah, let's say a couple of clouds between friends, right? I mean, look, ended up being a great looking day. And Alecia, you're doing a great job with that anchor chair over there. Looking good. And this is what we're dealing with. All right, temperatures today, upper 70s, some lower 80s out there. And Alicia's right. You had some white puffy clouds, a couple of you, pushing through the sky, but there's a lot of blue sky as well. Good-looking day. You maxed out at 81 in Calhoun, one of our biggest readings. We matched that in Augusta, but the biggest one of all, Macon, coming in at 83 degrees. Downtown Atlanta, 77. When you look at the skies overhead, no problems there. There will be more good stuff to come. But next week, there's a sizable change. I want to talk about that change. I want to see you back here in about 10 minutes or so. Alecia, it's all yours.
Thanks, Lonnie. Next at 8, some chemicals used to straighten hair are now linked to cancer and other illnesses. Tonight, consumers are sharing their concerns and what you need to know if you plan on getting your COVID booster and flu shot at the same time. The warning from the FDA.
Tonight at 9, a wife's mysterious death. What secrets will her husband reveal? 48 Hours updated episode tonight on Atlanta 69. Comedy is king.
I'm a dragon, guys. I just spit fire.
And the late night laugh start at 10 tonight on Atlanta 69.
Name something of yours you like, even though it's really old.
My grandma.
Feud, The Neighborhood, 2.5 Men get the last laugh tonight starting at 10 on Atlanta 69.
A ban on the chemical formaldehyde in hair straightening products is planned by the Food and Drug Administration. The FDA could put the recommendation into effect by April. Reporter Dave Carlin reports cancer concerns linked to some products may be a greater incentive to switch to more natural, chemical-free hairstyles.
Stylist Phyllis Badema says she is using fewer straightening and smoothing chemicals on clients after learning formaldehyde in some of the products may cause breast, uterine, and ovarian cancers.
You can get your hair temporarily straightened as opposed to permanently straightened.
She says the proposed formaldehyde ban helps her expand a conversation she's been having for more than a decade now.
Embrace your natural hair.
Right now, my sides need to be relaxed.
Stylist Keisha Renee was 9 years old when she was started on hair relaxers.
In retrospect, it was a bad idea because I was still growing as a kid.
Formaldehyde is a known carcinogen with long and short-term effects, according to medical experts.
I think FDA should put a ban. We already know that there is a direct correlation between formaldehyde and certain type of cancer. Also, we are considering workers who work at a hair salon.
I absolutely relaxed my hair.
Award-winning playwright Jocelyn Bio's scalp immediately rejected relaxing and smoothing products. She moved back to braids and never looked back. Her play, Jaja's African Hair Braiding, is a critical hit on Broadway, so popular with audiences it has been extended.
I'm grateful, that I work in an industry and also live in a time where, being able to wear my hair exactly as you see it right now, I feel very free.
The FDA's ban comes during a push to get the adoption of a federal Crown Act. Like ones approved in many states, it prohibits hair-based discrimination.
Protecting everyone, irrespective of the hair and the texture of the hair, the style that one is wearing, as it relates to getting a job, getting an education.
The bill's co-sponsor, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman of New Jersey, wants everyone to claim their rights, to be healthy, be respected, and be themselves. In Harlem, Dave Carlin, Atlanta Now News.
Short-term effects from breathing in formaldehyde can include headache, runny nose, difficulty breathing, skin irritation, and respiratory symptoms. In tonight's Health Now, the Food and Drug Administration says flu and COVID-19 vaccines may be linked to a slight increase in the risk of stroke in seniors when administered at the same time. The FDA analyzed data from Medicare claims and found a 20 to 35% increased risk of stroke in adults ages 85 and up who received both shots in the same visit. Scientists say the increase is so slight the benefits of vaccination still far outweigh the risks. Doctors suggest those who are concerned should get the shots at different times. In tonight's Money Now, mortgage rates continued their upward trend last week amid stronger than expected economic activity. Freddie Mac data released Thursday shows a 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 7.79% in the week ending October 26th. That's up from 7.63% the week before. A year ago, it was just over 7%. The most recent numbers mark the 7th week in a row that mortgage rates have continued to climb. As if caring for Earth isn't hard enough, a new study shows the stratosphere is becoming polluted. The report points to the burnup of satellites and rocket stages. It says that has put metal in about 10% of the stratosphere's aerosol particles. Researchers say that's unlikely to impact Earth for now, but they estimate the number could hit 50% in the coming decades. They say ramifications of such an increase are unclear. Lonnie Quinn is back with our forecast. Lonnie, let's look ahead to the weekend.
Well, you know what? If it could be just as pretty as it was today, I'm all for it. Look, doesn't make a difference what day of the week it is. Everybody's got their sights set on the weekend. I mean, they write songs about that. Everybody's working for the weekend, right? Well, you're going to get a great-looking one. Saturday, you'll be 82 degrees. You get to Sunday, you're going to be 83 degrees. You got nice sunshine overhead. That is a weekend to look forward to. All right, gang, let's move forward here. Talk about what you saw outside today. 76 on your thermometer. 5 degrees above what is typical for this time of the year. No record. Record is 85. But again, good-looking day. These are numbers to look at. You want to see pictures. Look at the video I've got from downtown Atlanta. You can see what I'm talking about. Blue sky, a nice, just vibrant blue with a couple of little wispy white clouds out there. And those puffy white clouds, they didn't hold precipitation. They just sort of make the sky, if you ask me, Alecia, make the sky look that much more interesting looking. I happen to love a good cloud in a blue sky. Now, at times they were a little thicker in spots, but overall, a real pretty looking day. Let's bring it back home here, and let's talk about what we expect as we look ahead. So you get a few more days of this sunshine and warmth to enjoy. It's just a great looking weekend like I showed you, those temperatures in the low to mid 80s. We will cool down once you go past Halloween. In fact, we're stuck in the 50s starting Wednesday. There's going to be a big drop. Watch this. Sunday afternoon, following this, you're 83 degrees. You are loving life, right? Like, get outside. Let's just do everything we can possibly do. It's 83 Sunday afternoon. You get to Wednesday morning, downtown Atlanta, 39 degrees. From the 80s to the 30s, just a matter of days. I mean, a big drop in your temperatures, and I'll show you what's going on out there. Skies right now look to be great. Bigger picture is going to show you. Bit of rain. There's a line of rain off to our west from Texas, up into Missouri. This is pushing to the east, but really this high pressure that's pumping in all this nice southerly air, it's going to kind of erode that. So I don't see a big rain chance as this moves through the area. In fact, I see it staying nice and warm. Right, the bigger picture shows us there's a secondary front you see back here. Okay, here we got South Dakota right there to put in perspective for you. This front, see the different colors, the red on one side, the greens on the other? This holds the big temperature change. So this is going to slide through, and that's what brings the drop in temperatures. Now, offshore, we have Hurricane Tammy. Tammy right now is a Category 1, forecast to dissipate in just a remnant low, as that's Bermuda right there, as it just sort of like treads water to the east of Bermuda and doesn't pose a big threat. But that's the latest on that situation. I want to now start talking about some numbers. For tonight, you're 59 degrees. It's partly cloudy. It's quiet. Okay, don't see any big weather problems out there. And for your day tomorrow, just about where you were today. We're going to go 79 and say sunny sky overhead, a warm finish to the work week, and then we talked about bring on the weekend. 82 Saturday, 82 Sunday. Both weekend days are looking good. Now, Tuesday, we have more clouds in the area. That front's coming through. We're dropping the temperature to 65 degrees. Wednesday, you are 56. So Wednesday, we really tap into the cool air, and it stays there. You're 58 on Thursday. And that Wednesday morning temperature of 39 is beat right now by Thursday morning's temperature of 37. It's going to be colder Thursday morning in downtown Atlanta than it will be in New York City.
Oof. Well, let's enjoy the weekend.
Oh, no, love the weekend.
Bundle up, right?
Great.
Forget about it. Coming up in sports, the Hawks dropped their season opener. Why the players are so excited about the next game.
You're watching Atlanta 69.
The Hornets stung the Hawks last night, but the team hopes to bounce back in its home.
Time for Atlanta Now Sports.
Good evening. I'm Randy Waters. The Hawks dropped their opener last night, falling 116-110 at Charlotte. Now, you don't need to be a basketball savant to know shooting 42% and 17% from three doesn't stack up very well against 50% and 30% from three for the opponent. Of course, a lot goes into the process of making or defending shots. So back to work today, getting ready for the Knicks tomorrow night and the excitement provided by the home opener.
We had a couple of preseason games, but I know it's not going to be the same as a home opener on a Friday. So, there's moments you live for as a kid, just being able to play the home crowd and try to start off the season well.
No, I know guys are always excited to play in front of a home crowd, and particularly a home crowd like ours. We have a group of fans at those games that play a big part in the game. That elevate your play and create emotion and intensity and things like that. That is not only beneficial, but it's fun.
A number of Atlanta United players are finalists for postseason awards. Thiago Almada for MLS MVP and Young Player of the Year. Yorgos Giacomakis for newcomer. Miles Robinson for Comeback Player of the Year. More important than awards, the upcoming playoffs. It's a best-of-3 against Columbus, opening with a game at Columbus next Wednesday. The Five Stripes host Game 2 on November 7th. And if there's a Game 3, Atlanta must travel back to Ohio. If the teams happen to be tied at the end of regulation, then penalty kicks decide the winner.
With best out of the 3 games. You know, you cannot tie. You have to go to PKs every time. For me, it's 2 games guaranteed. It's an interesting format. It's the first time I go through this type of format. I always love the one either is home and away and that's it, or one knockout game and that's it. I like both. This is going to be new, and we'll try to adapt.
Well, unless you've been under a rock somewhere, you've heard that Falcons quarterback Desmond Ridder had some red zone ball security issues against the Bucs last Sunday. The quarterback was a participant in a ball security drill at Flowery Branch Wednesday. Now, that's part of everyday life for running backs like Bijan Robinson and receivers like Drake London. Of course, the Falcons won the game, but Ridder and company came away knowing the odds are against you if red zone turnovers continue.
It's about 5 points of ball security, and so, just hitting all those, and those are the little details that you think about, but you don't really think about, but that you just have to hone in on, especially when, you think you might have something.
You got Desmond, who's a running quarterback, so it's just important, for him to have the secure ball security and to make sure that he's doing all the fundamentals to, grow as a runner, just like, how we do it every single day. So it was good to see Desmond out there, getting banged up a little bit.
Ball handling is a big thing, so, we try to make light out of it, something that we got to do, but we got to protect the ball to win games.
That's it for sports. I'm Randy Waters. Back to you, Alecia.
Thanks, Randy. The world will get to hear the last new song by the Beatles, thanks to artificial intelligence. It's called Now and Then. It's from a batch of unreleased demos by the late John Lennon. AI was used to separate Lennon's vocals. Now and Then will be released next Thursday. Thanks for watching Atlanta Now News. I'm Alecia Reid. Good night.
Why did you buy that sledgehammer? You going to do some home improvement, or were you buying a murder weapon?
Watch 48 Hours tonight at 9 on Atlanta 69.